Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Playbook for Performance podcast. I'm your host, Shawna, and we are in the middle of our 20-week challenge to build resilience. And actually, we're getting close to the tail end. So in our lesson today, we're going to be talking about attracting, because the more that we attract things naturally, the more ease and choice that we have. So let's get started. So when do I suggest this lesson? When somebody wants something different than what they've been getting. They really need to understand the whole law of attraction. And if you haven't watched the movie The Secret or read the book, I think it does a really good job talking about the kind of quantum physics of it all, how it works. What we emit into the universe returns back to us. We attract that like for like. And when they want to be more creative, what is it that they can do that will help them create that situation? A couple things to keep in mind when we talk about attracting. Joy is contagious. It is a wonderful thing, and frankly, we need a lot more of it. That's why I finished my book. It's published now. You can find it out on Amazon. Meet Me in the Middle. All about overcoming polarization, because in the midst of polarization, there isn't a whole lot of joy. It's not promoting, it's not seduction. It is this thing where naturally things come to you. Now, it doesn't mean that you haven't visualized it, doesn't mean that you haven't done the work behind it to prepare for it, but you are bringing back what you put out there. Needy in general is repelling. Doesn't matter if it's in a social setting, a work setting, when we are turned off by needy people in general. And so that's one of the vibrations that we really want to avoid. The ideal is I don't need anything from you and you don't need anything from me, and we are welcome to be ourselves authentically 100%. That's what we're really going for. So it comes naturally when we have harmony and integrity. And remember, in coaching, we're not talking about integrity as a moral compass of right and wrong, but we're talking about living in alignment with your values. The things that are most important to you, you are making decisions towards again and again. So whether it's health, family, faith, whatever those things are, your decisions support those things that are important to you. So here's the best analogy I can think of. Shout out to John Hardwick, because he is the one that introduced this anecdote to me to best describe the law of attraction and how it works. So imagine that you greet two young girls in party dresses. They are ready to go to this birthday party, and you greet them and you say hi and how are you, and you present each of them with a lollipop. In England, I think they'd say lolly. Okay. One of them is jumping up and down. Yay, yay, yay. I love lollipops. They're my favorite. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And oh, this is cherry. This is my favorite flavor. I'm so excited. You know, they're just delighted. They're so happy. And then the next child is like, lollipop? Like, don't you have any ice cream? Or I don't even like this flavor. They like tear off the wrapper. I'm imagining a Tootsie Roll Pop. They tear off the wrapper. They stick it in their mouth. They throw the wrapper on the ground, littering, and they walk away. They don't say thank you. They don't show enthusiasm. So when you have another lollipop, a third lollipop, or you greet them again, which of those two do you want to give a lollipop to? That's how the universe works. That's how the universe works. So when we are grateful, when we show enthusiasm, those are the things that come back to us. And people are attracted in that same way. And so we aim to be the yay version. You know, if you're a tough guy, you may not jump up and down and go yay. But you've got your, yeah sort of response. Okay. So in this situation, we want to come back to how do I prepare myself to be that young, excited, enthusiastic, grateful child? What is it that we need to resolve and get in order to be a clear communicator of what it is we desire, what we want more of? So, are your values clear? In this case, this young little one is like, I like candy. I love this flavor. I'm so grateful. And I want to behave as if I'm going to get more of these in the future. Okay? Probably not super calculated like that, but you get my drift. So, are we clear about those things? Do we muddy the waters? If you think about the community around you that works for you or works with you, can they predict accurately how you will respond in any given situation? So, if you're a leader and sometimes you fly off the handle and nobody knows why, I am the jerk whisperer. I can help you. If you are, wishy-washy or you vacillate day to day, I'm going to close this. No, I'm going to grow it. That's frustrating for your staff, and it's not a clear message, to the universe. And so you will attract mixed bags again and again, or nothing, because they're waiting for you to make up your mind. Are you living intentionally? So, are you clear about what your goals are, what you're going for? Have you broken down those things into bite-sized, manageable pieces that you can put in your calendar and pursue? So I'm a big fan of EOS. I love the book Traction. I did business planning for 10 plus years at a Fortune 10. I think that methodology for entrepreneurs is the simplified version of the business plan, and it makes things super clear. What are the goals? What am I doing this quarter? How am I going to get it done? My weekly meetings are all about how I resolve the issues that emerge to get those things done. So I recommend it highly. Are you enforcing your boundaries? So when things come up against you that are not aligned with your values, poor health type food, people who are not exhibiting, positive intent, things like that. Are you cutting those people off? To be clear, just like Jocko and Leaf say in their book, it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. So are you tolerating poor behavior? Are you tolerating people encroaching on your boundaries? If so, you need to come up with that script that informs them without anger to say, and by the way, you can go back and check out that lesson in our 20-week series about boundaries. In the past, you have been used to me accepting, tolerating, etc., this kind of behavior. I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm going to enforce this. Here's how I will behave when you do that in the future. Key that we don't ask others to change. We change. We change how we respond in those situations. Okay? Are your standards high? Could you lift them a little bit higher? Whether it's how you travel, what you eat, what you put in your body, what you exercise, the people you keep company with. Are those high? And are you honoring yourself? So depending on your beliefs, you are a child of God. And how are you going to, how would God expect you to be treated? You're an extension of that, right? So if God's not your thing, think about the universe, this, thread that connects us all. Are you honoring that? Are you honoring one another? Are you seeing the value in others, etc.? Okay. So think about the things that are unattractive to you. For these are this is my list. Yours may be different, but certainly take the time to populate your list. Needy or desperate. That's like, I want to take 2 steps back because I don't want to be a savior. I don't want to be someone that is ultimately dependent upon perpetually because they haven't taken the time to build up their foundation to do things themselves. A temporary boost, great. I'm always happy to help when people need a boost up, but not perpetually. When people are ungrateful, so again, that second child that like, I don't even like lollipops, littering, etc., that is a big turnoff to me, or rude. And especially when it's people who don't have authority or power. If I see an executive be rude to a server or a janitor or security, I call them on it right away. I'm like, what do you think this says about you? I don't tolerate it because it's poor leadership. It's poor leadership. Anything that's sort of pushing in terms of, before people are ready. Now, I want people to make decisions quickly. I'm a very intuitive person. Things come very naturally to me in terms of making decisions. Some people will just ask for more data. They're in that analysis paralysis. The opposite of that is pushing before people have had a chance to analyze the opportunities. That is super unattractive. To me, that falls into very similar needy or desperate. Complaining. I can't stand complaining. Here I am complaining. I want people to make a request. If they are unhappy with something, rather than saying, this soup's too cold, ask for what you want. Ask for the soup to be warmed up. Ask for, whatever it is that you need. Ask. One of the things I did with my girls when they were small to sort of train them in this is I would ask them to order something not on the menu in a restaurant. Never, ever did the server say no. Never. I wanted them to realize that they were not limited to what was on hand, that people were very happy to indulge people's requests if they could do it. Now, if they couldn't do it because they didn't have the ingredients on hand or someone didn't know how to do it, fine. But ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. And take the time to be intentional and think about what would be the most satisfying thing. Okay. I was listening to a podcast earlier today from Andy Frisella, and he was talking about this concept that he has where he calls it window shopping, where he's basically like flooding his brain with all of the opportunities that are out there to decide what is attractive to him and potentially a vision board kind of object or situation. Whether it's a ranch, a car, or whatever that might be. Those sorts of things are attractive, right? When we're aspiring to those things and we're looking at possibility. So instead of complaining, this car is unreliable, either make it so it is reliable or upgrade it. And part of the way that we get our mind primed for that upgrade, our reticular activation system, is through this window shopping and visualization process. So that's your alternative to complaining. Indecision, again, some people have analysis paralysis, but sometimes it's because their value set is not clear, or they have not begun with the end in mind. That Stephen Covey principle, highly effective habits. 7. Yes. And then finally, poor follow through. They say they're going to do something and they don't follow through. If you look at the book, The 4 Agreements, one of the agreements is to be impeccable with your word. So you're not casual in throwing around commitments or vows or promises, but you take it very seriously. You sort of document, yes, I will call you, that sort of thing. So that's my list. You tell me what yours is. Do determine who is attractive to you. So I have some childhood heroes that are super attractive to me. They're very diverse. They include Julia Child and Mr. Rogers. And part of it's their passion, part of it is their demeanor, their fun, all of those things. I learned to speak English because of Mr. Rogers. So think about those things that are attractive to you, or those celebrities, heroes, whomever they may be, and why are those people attractive to you? Why are they attractive to you? And what are the qualities that they have? Is it their generosity, their manners, their kindness, their competence, their mastery, the patience? Those are very attractive qualities to me. I think, what steps can I take to become better in those areas? To be more patient, to get better at my craft, things like that. And then, what is the identity that you would have to assume in order to master those habits? In the same way that it's very easy for those of us who don't smoke to say, I'm not a smoker. If someone offers us a cigarette, what is the identity you'd have to be that thing that you desire? So if you want to be fit, if you want to be flexible, if you want to be in great shape or lean, if you want to be a great golfer, if you want to be a great leader, a great friend, a great spouse, what are the things that the people that you admire that hold those qualities, what are the things that they do? And then what would you name it if you had to put a label on it? So just like we'd say non-smoker, or we might say athlete, or we might say disciplined, or a practicer of faith, whatever those things are, what is the identity you would need to assume in order to master those habits? So, don't forget that this course is available for your work group, your team, your organization. We can deliver it in a number of different formats, on demand, like this, in a much more robust, detailed version where we actually go through these exercises step by step together. So at the end of that class, you've got your list done that you can operate with. But it is the 1/3 of the equation for successful change. You got to have great leadership, you got to have great communication, and you have to have resilient employees. And the way that we build this resilience is we go through these 20 lessons to help people, become more flexible so that they don't break in a grave situation or adversity. They bend. So, don't forget to invite your friends. We are wrapping up here. We've got 2 more lessons, and then we are done with this 20-week challenge. So good job for being here. Good job getting on this. If you are watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps us get the word out to more and more people. If you're listening on Apple, you can hit follow so that this podcast always automatically downloads to your podcast app, or subscribe. So we'd love to have you along. We'd love to help you out. If you have a question that you want answered, just send us a note at podcast@shawnacorden.com. Until next week, take good care.